Bam! Bam! My peoples. My peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. You guys know what we doing, man. We talking boxing. Let me just say it's a beautiful day. Thank you, God, for giving us another one. And salute to everybody tuning in. Y'all know what it is. Toy Mafia in the building. Posse Track, William P, Underrated Pill, Shackle, Underrated Will, Shackle Hands. Salute, my peoples. We on it. We had a weekend of boxing. We got to talk about it. It got interesting. You know, I predicted that all three fights were going to play out mostly like they did because I predicted the worst. But, you know, it got chippy out there. It got real chippy out there. So we got to talk about it. We got to talk about all of these fights. And I'm going to kick off with my Dominican brother, Young Lion, John Santana. We're going to talk about all of these fights. But I want to start off with John Santana because obviously he was the first fight. That's number one. But number two, it didn't play out the way that we thought. SG Italiano, we're going to talk about Usyk versus Rico in a minute. This fight didn't play out the way a lot of people thought. And it was a good example of what does happen in boxing, my people. John Santana versus Christian Chacon Cruz is an example of something that you see. Santana, young elite level fighter, you know, high expectations. People expect him to become a world champion. And he's facing a guy that we don't know, we never heard of. 6-7 losses in his resume. So most people saying, yeah, man, yeah, John Santana is going to knock him out. I said that. I told you guys, yeah, he's going to stop him. Boom. Aroma sound. Salute family. It turns out that Christian Cruz is a good fighter and gave Santana a heck of a fight. It went the distance. And he landed some good shots. Some people saying that Cruz won, which is false. Let me dead that right now. Jan Santana won the fight. It was tough. It was competitive. This always happens. Every time a real good fighter, a fighter who has a certain projection, is in a close fight, a competitive fight, people say he lost. This always happens. Remember how supposedly Crawford lost to Madrimov too? Remember how Shakur lost to De Los Santos? Remember? So that's always going to happen when a guy's in a tough fight. But Santana won that fight. It's close and competitive. And you're not going to dominate everybody you face. Nobody does, my peoples. You could look at the greatest fighters of all time. You could make up your top 10 all-time greats. And when you look at their resume, you're going to find some opponents that they beat, but it went the distance and they gave them hell. If you look at Floyd, look at the first fight with Maidana and the first fight with Castillo. They gave him hell. And Floyd, widely considered the greatest of all time. Look at Oscar De La Hoya. Did you watch Ike Cortez? Some people say that Ike Cortez beat him. I didn't think he beat him, but he gave him a heck of a fight. He was a tough opponent. It happens in boxing. The best in the world are going to find somebody that they're not just going to dominate. They're not just going to run through them. It's going to be a tough fight. So Jan Santana faced a tough opponent in Christian Cruz and beat him. Moving on to the next. He's been calling out Shushu Carrington. I don't know if that fight happens right away or if he got to build himself up a bit more. Let's see. Let's see, my peoples. But if somebody tell you anything different, cap. Jan Santana won that fight. Now, let's move on to the next one, fellas. Brian Norman Jr. We were talking about, you know, how is he going to look? Now he's working with iconic trainer Ronnie Shields. The expectations are that he's going to perform, and that he did. Now, we didn't see enough of Brian Norman Jr., right? Because the fight ended in the second round. He did what he was supposed to do. You guys may recall, I said on Friday morning's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. And I said it before that too. They gave Brian Norman Jr. a good opponent for him to show out, for him to gain his confidence, for him to be spectacular. Did what he was supposed to do. Trent Thomas, bam, salute my brother. So Brian Norman Jr. performed, stopped his opponent in the second round. I will say, Josh Wagner went down, you know, the first time he got dropped. And it's like, what is the referee doing? Did you guys see that? The referee was counting. When the referee hit 9, Wagner was still down. He was still in the canvas. Like, what are you... When he started to get up, the referee could have counted him out. And he stood quiet, let him get up, and allow the fight to continue. At that moment, you could see that. 2 things. Number 1, Wagner was hurt. Number 2, he didn't want to continue. But the referee didn't do anything. He didn't go walk left, walk right. Are you good? Are you okay? Nothing. Just stop counting at 9, let him get up, and let him continue. I was like, man, this referee trying to get this man beat up. Beat up. And that's exactly what happened. He allowed it to continue. Brian Norman Jr. rained on him. And then eventually he had to stop it. Oh, no, now the referee didn't even want to stop it still. This man getting pummeled out there. And the referee still don't want to stop it. Wagner had to complain about his shoulder. Like, nah, ooh. The referee was ready to let that man get killed out there, my peoples. Golly. Come on. He literally out there getting pummeled. And he had to complain about his shoulder. And even then, the referee took him to the doctor for the doctor to be like, yeah, let's stop it. Because he complaining about his shoulder. And I said it before, to me, it was like, I think Josh Wagner wanted out of this fight. And that's why he pulled that shoulder move. However, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt, too. Because that happened to me, boxing. My left shoulder came out throwing a left hook. So I want to see it. I really want to take a look at the moments before he complained about his shoulder to see if it shows anything where it could have came out. But the referee, man, golly, you allowing this man to get pummeled out there. After the first knockdown, this fight should have been over. I'm telling you right now, should have been over. But the referee wasn't having it. He was trying to let them fight. So there you have it, my peoples. Brian Norman Jr. wins, you know, in explosive fashion. Looked like his old self again. It's hard to assess where he is simply because the fight finished quick. He looked good. For the round and a little bit that it went down, Brian Norman Jr. looked good. He looked like his old self. I know that he's been working with Ronnie Shields. They got new things that he got in his bag, but damn, he put the beating on his opponent too quick for us to see everything that he got. There you have it, my people. Salute to Brian Norman Jr. Walked out of there with the dub. Did what he was supposed to do. Let's see what's next. I told you before, Brian Norman Jr. will become a world champion again. Remember that Jay Smith told you this. People, you know, throw you under the bus as soon as you take a L. Nah, Norman Jr. nice like that. He for real. Pugilism. Just wish I live bet early. Oh man, with the bets, come on, bro. Enjoy the sweet science. Forget about the best for once. Keyshawn Davis got the W, my peoples. Al Booger, bam, salute family. Listen, Keyshawn Davis. I wanna point this out, fellas. And you have to remember, if you're tuning in, I said this fight could play out exactly like the first one. Exactly like the first fight. Why? Yo, Nahir Albright is a guy who can fight. It's a guy who has good defense. A guy who's hard to get hit, for you to catch him, you know, flush. For you to do what you have to do to stop him, it's hard. Hard to do that. And in fact, that body slam that you saw from Keyshawn Davis, it comes from his frustration. That's what it comes from. He was frustrated because it got to a point where he realized, I could beat you, I'm going to beat you, but I can't stop you. This thing is going the distance. He realized it. And he got frustrated because obviously he wanted to get the stoppage. But I tell you what, there are guys who are just right below the elites. Like right a notch below the elites. And those guys, you're not going to watch them. They're going to be right there with you. And you're going to have to go the distance, and you're not going to show out. You're not going to, look spectacular. You just got to walk out of there with the win. And ultimately, that's what it's about, right? You want to look good, but ultimately, it's about that W. Trent Thomas, yes, he will win another title. I see it. I see Brian Norman Jr. becoming a champion once again. So expect it. You can expect it, my people. I gotta say this, though. After this fight, after Keyshawn Davis went the distance with Nahir Albright, what did we get from Kid Austin? Kid would knock Keyshawn straight sleep. Facts. Floyd Schofield. So that's Kid Austin's pops who said that. Now they feel confident, like, oh, he went the distance. We sleeping him. Man, come on. Honestly, I think that's cap. You know why I think that's cap? Because y'all know damn well, Keyshawn Davis is fighting at 140. He actually had to go to the weigh-in twice to make weight. Y'all at 135. A division where Keyshawn Davis left because he couldn't make weight. He missed out on a fight, lost his title, missed out on a payday because he couldn't make 135. And you over here capping about you sleeping him from a different division. You know you're not moving up. You know he's not moving down. Stop the cap, bro. Stop the cap. Like, you might as well be like, yeah, my son will knock Usyk out too. That's it, just tell us that. Shakuhan, he been ducking fights. I mean, look, and you guys know I've been saying this. I'm consistent with it. Floyd Schofield is nice. He could fight, very skilled. But there's already gonna be pressure for him to start fighting champions. Look what you did to Tevin Farmer. What did you do to Tevin Farmer? You stopped him. A former world champion. Brutally, if I may say. So, when exactly is Floyd Schofield gonna fight, an Abdullah Mason, or not necessarily Abdullah Mason, but a champion. A champion. Come on now. Y'all been talking that talk. On social media, you ready to knock Shakur out. You ready to knock Tank out, Keyshawn out. Golly. On social media, y'all just ready to knock everybody out. Okay? When is it going to happen in real life? When are you going to step in the ring with them? So, the pressure is going to start kicking in. Let me give you an example so that you can see, right? We're talking about the elites, right? Elite level fighters. The elites, right? Floyd Schofield or his pops and himself. They feel like he could beat the elites, right? They've said that all over social media. Floyd Schofield is 23 years old. He hasn't fought for his first title yet. Right now, Xander Zayas is 23 and he's a unified champion. So, what's up? At what point do you start showing us that you are who you say you are? I know, listen, I know, don't get it twisted. I know Floyd Scofield is a skilled fighter. I know he nice. And I know he got power. But you don't get to that level until you beat somebody at that level. We go at everybody for that. Look at your bouts Ennis. Unified champion, you still see people saying, he didn't beat nobody, he ain't done nothing. He actually has. He has beaten some real good opponents. But people don't give him credit for it because they not the top guys. Oh, he's going to face Xander Zayas next after Virgil Ortiz ducked him. So when are we going to see Floyd Scofield get in there with one of the guys that got a strap? And you know why I think they capping? Because, damn, Shackle Hands, he whack. Nah, yo, somebody who's whack, keep it real, man. You know boxing. Somebody who's whack is not going to destroy Tevin Farmer. No way. No way. You're not going to destroy Tevin Farmer. But ultimately, at what point do you show us? And here's why, this is what I was saying, here's why I think Floyd Scofield and his pops, they cap. They was trying to fight Shakur Stevenson, right? The fight supposedly fell through because Floyd fell ill. Alright. So if you was already trying to get a world champion and it fell through, why you haven't fought a world champion still? I'm not getting that. You was trying to get Shakur. It didn't work out. Why I don't see you trying to get Abdullah? Why I don't see you trying to get, the other guys who got a title in the division? So it looks like you really wasn't trying to fight for that title. I don't see you trying to fight for one. I see you calling out names of dudes that's in another division. Like, y'all got to think about that. Keyshawn Davis left 135 because he could not make weight. You at 135 talking about, yeah, sleep Keyshawn. That's the same shit as you saying, yeah, I sleep Usyk. We know you and Usyk never going to fight. Just like we know you're not going to 140 and Keyshawn Davis not going to 135. Why you calling him out? For Abdullah, he right there. Easy to make that fight too. Now that Golden Boy and Top Rank both with the zone, easy. Easy for you and Abdullah to fight. Holla. Holla at them. Oh no. Yeah, you were Golden Boy. Easy fight to make with Abdullah Mace. Pugilism. Mess up their Shakur opportunity. Win or lose. That would have been a good for Scofield because Shakur the best name and beats everybody. Aroma Sound. Kid Austin pulls out the last two fights, have me questioning him. So let me say this. I'm going to be honest. They confident. They feel like they could beat Shakur. If they do it, cool. But if he goes out there and gets cooked, gets embarrassed, that's a demoralizing L. Stock goes down. Everybody starts saying that he got exposed. It's going to be a few people saying, nah, but it was Shakur that did it to him. But ultimately, an ass whooping is demoralizing and makes his stock go down. Aroma Sound, Kid Austin pulling out. Pugilism. It's the same that will carry their experience and resume forward. Shackle Hands, 2 wars with Padilla and someone else. Farmer was shot. Yeah, but even when you shot, you don't lose to a bum. You beat up bums. When you shot, you lose to the guys that are up top. Not to bums like that. Ezzy Italiano. We still not talking about Usyk Rico. We're not there yet, my God. Shackle Hands. That's exactly right. It's all cap. Yeah, I believe it's cap because if you really was trying to fight Shakur, right, the best The best in the division at the time. In case he won't fight again at 135. Why I don't see you trying to fight nobody else? None of the champions. It doesn't look like you really was trying to do it. It doesn't look like you really wanted to fight Shakur. Because number one, when you pulled out, you didn't try to reschedule it. It's not like you said, I'm sick, let's make this happen in 3 months. No, it's I'm sick, we're not fighting. God damn, okay, cool story. Let me see what champion you go after. Let me see what title you gonna go after. Haven't gone, remember, that was how long ago with Shakur, that situation with Shakur? A year ago? A year and a half ago? How long ago was that? Floyd Schofield has fought 2-3 times. Hasn't fought a champion, hasn't pursued the title. Cap. Shackle hands. Corey Wood ended his career. Oh man, it could have messed him up. A young fighter like that, taking a beating and getting made to look like a goofball, demoralizing. That could send a guy downhill. Mickey Rourke. That's what Tank was telling Corey basically when he said, what has he done? You cannot, like, how can you compare Floyd Schofield, who's never won a title, to Shakur, who's a multi-division champion, unified champion, Ring Magazine champion, lineal champion? Like, how do we even compare those two, bro? Like, I don't get it. Pugilism. A fight with Shakur, it's a lottery ticket in schooling in the game. The electrician stepped up to court, lost, but ultimately still respected. SG Italiano. Rico has got the potential to surprise us. Oh, you got it. My peoples, I'm going to tell you like this. We got some real good matchups coming up. Real good showdowns. But before that, the magic question. After watching Brian Norman Jr. do what he did, do you think he's back to conclusions? Easy win? You know, how do you measure that performance? Ghost Dragon, the hospital video, that's all cap and hilarious because I had a feeling that it was staged. The funny thing about that Ghost Dragon is that you may recall Shakur spent damn near the entire training camp telling him, don't pull out. Don't pull out. Talk all that shit, just don't pull out. He ended up pulling out. Floyd Schofield, I bet you he young. I bet you he don't got no kids. He don't got no kids. He got a strong pull-out game. Pull-out game crazy. No kids for Floyd Schofield right now. He got it. Mickey Rourke. Dude got hit so hard, he thought his shoulder was messed up. Zayas and there has bam, salute family. Nah, man, let me say this. The referee was trying to let him get beat up. Ref was ready to let that man get killed out there. Like, bro, did you see the count when he got knocked down the first time? This dude said 9. And Buddy was still on the floor. He just let him get up. Ref stood quiet. Just let him get up. And not only that, you got a guy who stood up right after 11. And you don't even say, yo, walk left, walk right. You okay? You want to keep going? Nothing. Just let him get up. Do you, buddy? He was trying to let that man get pummeled. Then he getting pummeled again. My man's Brian Norman Jr. raining punches and bunches in his wig piece. The ref still not stopping it. Buddy goes down. And the ref still not trying to wave it. My man's had to say, And even with the shoulder complaint, the ref didn't want to stop it. He took him to the doctor. So the doctor could be like, yeah, stop it. Like, that ref wasn't having it, man. He was trying to let bro get beat up out there. Come on, man. Damn. You're supposed to protect the fighters. Pugilism. We welcome Norman Jr. back to scope to welcome Keyshawn at 147. But Haney's smart and know not to let Keyshawn have a chance sharing his best win in Norman Jr. before making Debo versus Craig fight. Keyshawn already said he want to do it. Devin said he want to do it. In fact, before the fight, Devin said, if Keyshawn wins, I'm going after him. And after the fight, he tweeted, Debo is going after Keyshawn. So, Devin wanted, Keyshawn wanted. Hey, I'm going to be honest. I find it hard to believe that Keyshawn Davis is going to make his debut at 147 versus Devin Haney. I wouldn't be surprised if they take a tune-up first and then do that fight. But you never know. Let's see. Shackle hands. His pop wasn't trying to even have a cell phone. Hopefully be wildin'. Mickey Rourke. Doctor asked him, what's wrong? Dude said, my hair hurt while rubbing his shoulder. He was like, man, listen, I need to figure something. He was trying to get out that fight. That's what it looked like to me. Look, even after the count, after the referee was counting and let him continue, bro was shocked. Bro thought the referee was going to save him, and all of a sudden he back fighting again. That shit was crazy. Crazy, bro. Mickey Rourke. Give Keyshawn Norman Jr. Since he's not trying to fight the top fighters, go ahead and move up. What you mean Keyshawn not trying to fight the top fighters? He want to fight Devin Haney. There's some potential for that fight to happen. Marie, he faked it. The real was right. Why would he stop it? It wasn't so bad. If Norman Jr. was mad and wanted to do more. Now the referee, listen, if you're getting punched, Marie, you have to understand this. If you're getting punched in the head and you're not defending yourself, you're just shelling up, you put yourself in a shell and the fighter's wailing on you, bam, 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 with punches to the head, it's the time to stop it. That's it. You've become defenseless, Marie. That's what that's called. You're defenseless. If you go like this, look. Boom, 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 boom. That's called defenseless. He wasn't fighting back. You're supposed to stop it. Pugilism. Turkey will set it up. There's a bank for it. Come on now. Haney versus Keyshawn. A lot of money to be made. Marie Devin needs some big wins. He may gonna fight Keyshawn soon. Cause I see Team Dev got some problems. They still don't have a fight yet. His stock went down. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why you feel that way. Look at his last fight. For you to say that his stock went down, Marie, he has to have a next fight, and it has to be small, and he has to make less money. And then you can say that. But to say that his stock is down because he doesn't have a fight yet, that's crazy. That's crazy. So you're saying that his stock is down. So if he signed on, it hasn't been announced, right? But if he did sign on with ZUFA Boxing for $100 million, if he did sign with them, are you going to say his stock is down? Because that's going to blow that narrative out of the water. Like, it's going to be an explosion. How is somebody's stock down, but they get signed for over $100 million? You got to reassess that opinion, Marie. The letter M. Are you going to cut off the live in the next main event? Come on, the letter M. Come on, the letter M. You're going to have to take a quick 24-hour. I told you I didn't cut off the live, and you keep repeating that. So take a 24-hour break, man. And do me a favor, don't say that again. Mickey Rourke. Yeah, Haney. But I'll believe it when I see it. He was yelling all New Year's in the past month. Nobody wants to fight me. Just to end up with a slow dancing, singing ass nigga that nobody wanted to see. Golly. Hold on. Why are you taking away the storyline that Number one, this was a rematch. Number two, this is a fight where his win was overturned. Number three, Albright is the guy that beat up his brother. Beat him up. He avenged his little brother. You forget that part. You gotta look at everything involved in the storyline to that fight. Schuyler, Sidney Sweeney, in a thong. You're a goofball. This is a boxing channel, dummy. You out of here. Bam. Marie, it looked like it. Pugilism. Turkey will support and fund Devin versus Keyshawn before Ryan and Rolly or Crocker versus Haney, because Keyshawn name and pedigree also carries both Haney and Keyshawn if they overpay Haney and Haney loses. Look, here's the roadblock that I see for that fight. And we have to take it into consideration. There's no way to ignore it. Right now, there's a possibility that Devin Haney has already signed with ZUFA Boxing. There's that possibility. So, if he's with ZUFA, how do they make that fight? Keyshawn Davis is with Top Rank. So far, we have not seen a single ZUFA guy getting in the ring with somebody from Top Rank. So far. So we just have to see how these things develop. Because at some point, Oscar De La Hoya wasn't willing to do business with Dana White, but then he came out on record, on video, saying, hey, if he wants to do business, call me. So there's always going to be the possibility that if there's a lot of money to be made, let's do business. Mickey Rourke, does this say more about Ryan if he loses to Ben? Or does this say more about Ben if he wins Jay Smith? So I think it's a very competitive fight. Two real good fighters. So it'll be a good win for whoever wins. It's a good win. If Ryan Garcia beats Conor Ben, that's a good win. And he's the champion right now. Ryan Garcia, there's no questioning him anymore. He's a legitimate world champion who won his title inside the ring. Ryan Garcia is not a secondary champion. He don't got a little secondary belt. He don't got a Mickey Mouse belt. He didn't get an email title. He got it in the ring versus a legitimate champion, Mario Barrios. So you got to respect him. At this point in the game, we got to respect Ryan Garcia. Now, are we going to see Keyshawn Davis step in the ring with Devin Haney? A top-ranked guy versus a ZUFA guy? I don't know. Maybe they could happen in a RIYADH season card, because it's not happening on a ZUFA card. And I told you guys this before, and I want you to keep that in mind. The ZUFA cards that we're seeing, ZUFA 1, ZUFA 6, they're on ZUFA 6. Or the last one was ZUFA 6, they're going to ZUFA 7. You're never going to see the big stars on those cards. Never going to see them. Or at least for now, you're not going to see them. And I'll explain to you why. You guys have to remember, these ZUFA cards are being held at the Apex. That's a small venue that fit 1,100 people. So you think about it. If they sign Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson, and that fight will happen, they'll face each other, them guys are going to make $20, $30 million each to fight each other. I promise you that. You think they're going to stage an event like that in an 1,100 person venue, the Apex in Vegas? Of course not. You think they're going to hold that card or that fight in a ZUFA card? Of course not. That's going to be a RIYADH season. Just like Conor Ben was with Regis Prograis, where RIYADH season. That wasn't a ZUFA card. So now what I'm realizing is that ZUFA, in a way, is their own B league, because they're going to be having the ZUFA cards that are numbered, and then they're going to be having the RIYADH season cards, where the stars that they sign they're going to be fighting in RIYADH season. And the only way this changes and you're going to see stars fighting on ZUFA is if they move on from the Apex to fighting in big venues. But you're never going to see big stars fighting in no Apex. You're not going to put Devin Haney in an 1,100 person venue. Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, Edgar Berlanga, Richardson Hitchens. None of them guys are going to fight at the Apex. So you won't see them on ZUFA cards. You're going to see all those guys on RIYADH season cards. Pass the track. Devin will get scolded by Shakur, so he better get paid. They're going to have to give him the bag to take that beating that Shakur is going to dish out. Now, listen, that's a real good fight. That's a real competitive fight. But before we even talk about it, Floyd Schofield saying that he'll sleep Keyshawn Davis or saying that his son will sleep Keyshawn Davis is cap. Super cap. Marie, conning fighters. Come on, man. Come on, my peoples. They got their own thing going on. But I'm going to say this. I'm not knocking them for having two streets on their own side. They got the ZUFA street and they got the RIYADH season street, right? I don't knock them for that. You know why? Because the ZUFA cards, let's keep it real, they've all been entertaining. Even when we're watching guys that we don't know, that we're not familiar with, it turns out that we're watching two good fighters facing each other. So far, ZUFA has done a great job with the matchmaking. A lot of competitive fights, a lot of guys losing their O. ZUFA's doing their thing. Much respect to them. But the superstars, you're not going to see them on ZUFA. We see, oh, they signed with ZUFA Boxing, right? They promoting the name ZUFA. But just look at Regis Prograis versus Conor Ben. They promoted the name ZUFA by saying that they were signed, but they fought on a RIYADH season card. You never saw a ZUFA logo in that event. You never saw ZUFA being mentioned. It was all about RIYADH season. So the ZUFA signing is more to promote the name because they're not actually going to fight on ZUFA cards, which is what we thought originally. Well, me personally, I'm not going to say we, I don't know what you guys thought, but me personally, I was like, oh shit, they signing these guys, we're going to see ZUFA cards loaded with stars. They not fighting on ZUFA cards. So don't get it twisted. Don't get confused. It's not even going down like that. That's the reality. We got to keep it 100. Now, we was talking about Keyshawn Davis and Shakur Stevenson. Well, before the fight, Devin Haney said, if Keyshawn wins, I want to fight him. Keyshawn won. After the fight, Devin tweeted, Debo's going after Keyshawn. Is Keyshawn Davis actually going to move up and make his debut in the division versus Devin Haney? Could we see that? Look, I would have knocked him if he decides to fight a tune-up first in the welterweight division and then Devin Haney. But damn, the way that they both talking, it look like they both want to smoke. Does the fight happen next? I don't know. I'd like to see it. I think it's going to be a real good fight. You're going to have a lot of... Listen, if they fight each other, you're going to have a lot of people saying Devin is going to beat him up. You're going to have people saying Keyshawn is going to beat him up. We have to wait for the fight to happen to find out who getting beat up. And just remember, Keyshawn is going to be the one moving up in weight to fight a bigger Devin Haney if they fight each other. So as far as the size goes, Keyshawn is going to be a little bit at a disadvantage. Mickey Rourke, he better not go in there underestimating and thinking he gonna KO Haney. That didn't work well for Norman Jr. And you know what? I think after the performance that Devin Haney put up against Brian Norman Jr., nobody's gonna underestimate him. At 147, we've seen the best version of Devin Haney. And I say this because he got the speed, got the ring IQ, got the footwork, the defense, the snappy jab, and of course, now he brought power up with him into that division. Now Brian Norman Jr. will tell you. Brian Norman Jr. will tell you, my people. This version of Devin Haney, well, he a pound for pound fighter. He's on the pound for pound list. But this version of Devin Haney is right back on that path to being one of the guys competing to become the next face of boxing. He put himself back in that path to making it to #1 on the pound for pound list. Of course, you got some tough guys that you got to overpass. Shaku Hands, he is not Norman. Key's footwork. Key is footwork and everything. Pugilism. Haney doesn't benefit. Wait on Keyshawn to build his brand, get more experience, and allow Jay Prince to get a bigger cut of the pie. If Haney's smart, he'd fight Keyshawn now for his best chance to win. Of course, he'd fight him now. But Keyshawn could say, yo, I'm going to move up to 147. Let me fight this dude. And then go after Haney. So it's not going to be up to Devin if, whether or not Keyshawn decides. Look at Boots. They could have pressured Boots to fight Virgil when he moved up to 147. He was like, nah, I'm going to do a tune-up. I'm going to fill myself out in that division, and then I'm going to fight him. And then when he called their bluff, what they did, we saw Virgil ducking. So Keyshawn could go to welterweight, fight, get a win, feel comfortable in the division, and then go after Devin. It's going to be his option whether he want to move up and go straight away for that fight. Pugilism. It's up to Dev to keep Keyshawn on his world. If you're not listening to what Devin is saying, Devin is the one that's interested. Devin is the one that said, I want to fight Shakur and Keyshawn, but a little first. Devin wants that fight, my guy. He's not going to change his mind just because Keyshawn said, I want a tune-up. You're changing his mind for him. He's not going to change his mind. Eduardo Alvarez. Rumor is the feds building a case against Jay Prince. Whoa. But I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to the feds building a case against Jay Prince, I think I've been hearing that, since like 2010. No cap, my G. Since like 2010, I think I've been hearing that. So, what else is new? Pugilism, if Key rejects now, he fought his bluff. And it's a bad look. That's your opinion. I don't know how you're coming up with all this. You already built a narrative in that direction. Nobody has to move up and fight a guy right away, the world champion right away. Nobody has to do that. There's no bluff. There's been no contracts offered. It's just talks on social media. Shackle Hands. Devin's cap artist tone. Whoa. Now look. Devin, throughout his career, he's shown us that he's about that smoke. He's shown us. Keyshawn shown us too that he's about that smoke, about that life. So it's two fighters that are going to end up, I think, meeting in the ring. It's just about when does it happen. Can it actually happen next? Maybe. Maybe. Does Keyshawn move up in weight? Because you have to understand, this is first fight at 140. with one fight at 140, does he move up to 147 and go after the best in the division? That's up to him. But we saw we saw Boots get a tune-up. And Boots got a tune-up before somebody like Virgil, who hasn't done nothing compared to what we seen Devin Haney accomplish inside the ring. Nothing. Virgil nice, don't get it twisted. Even though he ducked Jerome Boots Ennis, but he nice, I give him his props. But you can't compare Virgil Ortiz to Devin Haney. There's no comparison. Shackle hands. I said Dev is a cap artist too. I stand on it. But I don't know why you're saying that he's a cap artist. With everything he's accomplished, everything he's done. What makes him a cap artist? Pasta track. Have you ever seen Devin get caught with a hard shot and come back? I mean, Linares caught him with a crazy hard shot. And he won the fight. Eduardo Alvarez. How come Rolly Devin, Shakur Ryan can't get a fight? I mean, I don't know why you're saying that they can't get a fight, bro. It's business. But how long ago did Rolly's fight? How long ago did Shakur fight? How long ago did Ryan fight? So you're saying that these guys can't get a fight, but how long ago did they fight, really? Wasn't even that long ago. So, can they get a fight? They can't get a fight. I don't know how. I don't know how you come up with that. See, if we would have been talking 15 years ago, you would have been saying the same shit about Floyd, when he didn't have an opponent for 5 months. Yo, why Floyd can't get a fight? He's the greatest of all time. Why he can't get a fight? So who says they can't get a fight? This is a process of boxing. It's business. This happens all the time in boxing. Where fighters are talking to somebody, negotiations don't work out, they talk to somebody else, and that's part of boxing. How you figure they can't get a fight? That's crazy. Mickey Rourke, bro, how can Rolly still keep his belt? They haven't stripped him yet. I don't understand how they haven't stripped him. Because he got a mandatory that he's supposed to fight. But maybe they're negotiations. Maybe they didn't strip him because he's going to defend versus that mandatory. We shall see. Pugilism. Keyshawn versus Devin is Loma versus Gary Antoine Russell fight. Keyshawn ready for this level of fast track. And Haney ready to recognize win business. I don't know how you coming up with all this pugilism, to be honest. I don't understand how you come up with these angles. Ultimately, it's about whether or not Keyshawn want to move up and go right for the big dog, or whether he wants to adjust. All of that stuff that you're saying is incoherent. It all boils down to what Keyshawn Davis want to do. That's it. None of that you said is going to determine, should I move up, should I not move up, and fight the big dog. Because you cannot go into Keyshawn Davis's process into that decision. So you could play psychic and give your opinion about, well, this is what's best for him for this reason, and this is what I came up with. But when you say that as if it's facts, it's not facts. That's just stuff that you're coming up with. That's the angle that you're coming up with to fit your narrative. Rosa Andre. And the crazy thing about what you say in pugilism, that just like that, if Keyshawn go up and he get beat up by Devin Haney in the first fight, it's going to be exactly the opposite. Stocks is going to be down. Fans are going to say that he got exposed, that he's not really that good, and the shit goes downhill for him. Now he could get depressed and do drinking and do all type of shit could go wrong off of following your instructions because you think it's the best time for him. Keyshawn and his team know when it's the best time for him to make that type of move. From watching, you can't make that assessment. You're making it in your head and it sounds good inside your head, but I've been in the ring. I know what it is to get punched in the face. It's easy to see it on TV and be like, yeah, go up and do that. Doesn't work that way. Rosa Andre. Jay Smith, always great to get information from you. Keep doing your thing. Salute, Rosa. Bam, appreciate you. Al Booger. Keyshawn better take a warm-up at 147. Devin is a big freaking dude. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's easy, you know, watching it on TV is easy to say, yo, get in there with the big dog. You. Okay, but then he get beat up, the shit hit the fan. Oh, man, he shouldn't have did that. He fucked up. Then you're going to see everybody saying that he messed up, that he should have never moved up and fought the big dog right away. Then people are going to be like, you see, Boots took a tune-up. You should have took a tune-up. Should have took a tune-up. Nah. You have to learn pugilism, how to let the fighter decide when he's ready to make a move. You can't decide for the fighter. You can't dictate when it's good for the fighter. Every fighter has their own individual circumstances. That goes for everyone. And you're sitting there telling someone else what they should do. I hope you don't allow nobody else to tell you what you should do. And whatever it is that you do. That's going to be the word of the day, pugilism. I'm going to give you the word of the day, but that's for everybody. Don't let anybody else tell you what you should do based on what they think. Based on their assessment of what they think that you should do. Because they think, well, somebody else did this, so you might as well do that. No, don't do it to yourself, pugilism. Don't tell somebody else what they should do. And definitely don't allow somebody else to tell you what you should do. Let them decide. Keyshawn Davis is a world champion. Keyshawn Davis is a star. We watching him, and we're going to tell him what to do, what's best for him. It doesn't work that way. It sounds good when you say it to yourself, maybe, but that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. And don't get it twisted. Keyshawn Davis versus versus Devin Haney. If it happens, when it happens, that's a big, big fight. And I want it. I think we all want it. Everybody in here, all 29 of you in here, even the ones that's ghost watching and snake hating by not hitting the like button, we all want that fight. But we got to consider the facts. Keyshawn Davis got one fight at 140. Should he go up to 147 and right away go after Devin Haney? In my opinion, no. Of course not. But remember what you said. You're like, this is the best time for Devin Haney because, you know, right now he catching him early. So you're literally coming up with a whole narrative in Devin Haney's favor so that he can win. As opposed to what's best for Keyshawn or what he should do. You said that, man. Oh, God, late. Mickey Rourke. Honestly, Jay Smith, I'd rather see him go after Mason Belt. Oh, no, but see, here's the thing, Mickey Rourke. Keyshawn Davis versus Abdullah Mason is outside of the realm of possibility at 135. You got to remember, Keyshawn left that division because he couldn't make weight. Couldn't make weight. So if he's not able to make 135, if he lost his belt, look, he lost his belt, he lost a payday over not making 135. No chance he's going to go down and fight Abdullah Mason, who's, you know, this young, hungry lion. Nah. He's going to be depleted. Abdullah's going to have his way. Coach Abdullah, he is not ready for Haney. It's too early. But yeah, a good fight. You see what I'm saying? Coach Abdullah know what he's talking about. I appreciate you sharing that with us, Coach. Because ultimately, Devin Haney is a pound-for-pound fighter who's been at it, who's been through a lot, who's done a lot. Keyshawn Davis just started accomplishing for him to make his debut at welterweight versus a pound-for-pound fighter in Devin Haney. Come on, pugilism. Why are you trying to set that man up like that? Mickey Rourke, yeah, true, and barely made 140. I think that's why all the talking and hype stopped. Libre, you think Devin could beat Boots? I think he could, honestly. So here's the thing. Devin and Boots is going to be one of those type of situations. Master Killer, best boxing channel by far. Bam, salute, my brother. I appreciate you. We're going to number 1. It's only a matter of time, I promise you. I gotta say, look, when it comes to Devin and Boots, it's a tough matchup. It's a tough fight to make because remember, Bill said that, Bill and I think Devin said that they offered the fight to Boots at 147. But Boots came back with a counter to fight at 152. Catch weight of 152. And that's it. The conversation was there right there. Devin wasn't going to move up. And Boots wasn't going to move down. So the fight can't happen, right? The only way we can get Devin and Boots in the ring is if Devin Haney moves up to 154. How does that happen? Simple. Boots win a title. And Devin then says, okay, I'm going to challenge you for your belt at 154. There's a possibility of that happening. Rosa Andre, Debo is very big for Keyshawn, but do not sleep on Keyshawn. His IQ for boxing. He can adjust on a dime. I agree with you. That's a very competitive fight. That's a real good fight. But this is my opinion. Keyshawn Davis, if he really does want to fight Devin Haney, the right thing to do would be to move up, get a tune-up, fight somebody in the welterweight division, you know, get acclimated to that weight class, maybe even get another fight with a top-level guy. But move up and right away fight Devin? Nah, that's crazy. That don't make no sense. Pugilism. Keyshawn can afford the fast track and have his hype train stopped by Haney. You see? Listen to what you're saying. Have his hype train stopped by Haney. So obviously you're taking an angle from a Devin Haney fan point of view. So my guy's gonna win, so let me set up this scenario where my guy looks good. That's it. You're not looking at it from a perspective of how should it play out for Keyshawn. You're just focusing on he's a hype train and Devin got him and Devin is gonna beat him. I'm looking at it as an analyst. You're looking at it as a Devin Haney fan. You don't have the same perspective. Pasta track. The number 1 contender should get a shot at Haney. Then the number 2 or 3. Pugilism. The longer Haney waits, the worse it gets for Haney to beat Keyshawn. That's common sense. Okay, but you're taking Devin Haney's side. You're saying the longer he waits, the tougher it is, so they got to do it now. You're approaching it as a Devin Haney fan. Mickey Rourke. Debo Dev is only Debo when he fights smaller fighters. Any other time, he's the dream. Wait a minute, Mickey Rourke. Ryan Norman Jr. is not a small guy, my brother. Ryan Norman Jr. not small. He not tall like that. But look at his build. Pasta track. They should have to at least fight a top 10 contender before a shot at the champion. I agree with you. I agree with you on that. The exception is if you're a world champion and move up as a reigning world champion. But Keyshawn Davis not a champion at 140, right? So if he move up to the welterweight division, he should earn that shot. Mickey Rourke, a Devin Haney fan in the wild. Never thought I'd see it. Pugilism is in the building. He's fighting hard for Devin Haney. And fighting hard for the way that is better for Devin. Coach Abdullah, Boots hasn't been tested yet. If I were Haney, I'd make him wait. Pugilism, haha. But we from Norfolk. And we want to fight more than Haney fans. Coach Abdullah, Haney doesn't need Boots. I mean, he doesn't. He doesn't need Boots. He's a bigger star than Jerron Boots Ennis. He's more accomplished. But I will say this, Coach Abdullah, and you probably agree with this. Haney don't need him, but that would be a big win to add to his resume if he beats him. Libre, who do you got in Xander versus Boots, man? I haven't made that prediction yet. I haven't been able to make that prediction. I promise you I'm going to make it soon. That's a good fight, man. I don't want to, I don't want to disrespect Xander Zayas because I see, the level of skill that he got. I see what he's able to do in the ring. I see the power that he got too. And I know that he got what it takes to hurt Boots and make the fight go in his favor. I mean, we just watched Zach Chelly stop Brian Norman Jr. I mean, stop David Morrell in the last round. Zach Chelly was losing that fight. On all cards, he was going to lose by unanimous decision. Even if, listen, if David Morrell would have got up off the canvas and lost 10-8 round in the last round, he still wins by unanimous decision. Yeah. He got. Last round. Got stopped. So don't discount a fighter automatically. And then when you look at Xander Zayas, a unified world champion, a guy who got power, skills, footwork, ring IQ, he's going to give Boots a hell of a fight. Now, can he outbox Jerome Boots Ennis? I don't see it. I don't see that he could outbox him. But he has the skills to catch him with a good shot and hurt him. And then that could change the outcome of the fight. Coach Abdullah, Charlo at 154. Make it roar. Boy, their time has passed maybe 5 years ago. And I'm from Houston saying this. Now, I don't think so, my guy. I don't think that Charlo's time passed. And you know why I say that? Because, yes, they've been going through stuff in their personal life and everything. But they're not in the ring getting their asses kicked. Jermell lost to Canelo Alvarez. So it's not like they're out there getting beat up. So I disagree. And I want to see the Charlos fighting again. Both of them. Every time they step in the ring, you know you're going to get a good fight. You know you're going to enjoy yourself. Not washed. Not done. They got to get in the ring, of course. They got to make it happen. Pass the track. These kind of cherry-picking fighting doesn't allow fighters that truly have worked for it to get a shot. Too much politics. JJ said that a Chavez-Taylor fight. Whoa. Chavez versus Taylor was a special showdown to enjoy, my peoples. What a fight. But I gotta say this. What if we get Conor Benn and Shakur Stevenson? This fight could actually happen, fellas. Shakur Stevenson versus Conor Benn. I say Conor Benn is food. I say Conor Benn is food. Tasty, too. If he fights Shakur Stevenson, he getting cooked. Cooked. Damon Ford. These guys can't beat Fundora. These guys are... when you say these guys can't beat Fundora, are you including Jerome Boots Ennis into that equation? Make it roar. But Jay Smith, he got beat up. But I asked Coach, who is a challenge for Boots? No, I don't believe they're done or washed. But a challenge for Boots? No. You think Jermell Charlo is easy work for Boots? I don't think so. I don't think so, bro. Coach Dula, yes, easy work. Ooh, damn. Mel is easy work for Boots. Boots will beat him up. Make it roar. Only challenge for Boots is Tower Inferno. Yeah, Sebastian Fundora, he a challenge for everybody and anybody. He got the physique and the skill set to present problems. Make it roar. Devin Ford, yes. Oh, man, y'all got Jermell Charlo getting beat up by Jerome Boots Ennis. Whoa. I think it's a competitive fight, man. I think it's a competitive fight. You know, in boxing, this happens. When a fighter either loses or is inactive for some time, that's it. Everybody expect them to get beat up. Coach Abdullah, Charlo is not easy work for Boots. That's a very hard fight. There you have it. You see? Damn, Coach. Coach. You're going to have to start joining me a little bit more often in the morning, man, because I need that voice of somebody who actually is talking out of, yeah. This is how it really is. How you going to say Jermell Charlo's not going to get beat up or be easy work for nobody? Nobody's beating him up. Yeah, he could lose. But damn, ain't getting washed. Jay is in Jay Smith with the voice over our comments. Nice job. Appreciate it, my guy. Yo, listen. I read your comments the way I picture you saying it. In my head, that's the way that I picture you saying it. Mickey Rourke. He's not easy work, but Boost will figure him out. Then it's game over. Pugilism. Xander versus Boost. A 12-round grudge match. Guaranteed rematch, even if it's not in the contract. Too good of a matchup not to see twice. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Pugilism. We're only going to see it once. Remember, Jay Stradamus told you. We're going to see it once. Xander Zayas is going to lose that fight. And Jerome Boost Ennis is going to keep trying to unify while Xander Zayas move up to 160. We're going to see it once. Xander Zayas is going to move up right away. Right after. Very next fight. Pasta track. Yeah, I look at Jamal at being a fairly conventional fighter. Not a ton of power and predictable. Mickey Rourke. I didn't say he easy work, but he would not challenge Boots like Fondora would. Coach Abdullah, fundamentally sound and very strong. Boots has to show something we haven't seen for him to win. He got to be at his best. Jerome Boost Ennis got to be the best version of himself to beat Jermell Charlo. Lonely. Nobody would want to see Xander versus Boost because Boost would make it easy. What do you mean nobody would want to see it? That fight is going to happen next, family. They're going to fight next. What are you talking about? Jay asks, can you please do more bad words for mine? The Hydro Grind. Good morning, my peoples. Bam, salute, family. Mickey Rourke. But first, Boost got to knock Zayas and his highlights back to Puerto Rico, to his Boricuas. Lonely, the rematch. Oh, there ain't going to be no rematch. There won't be no rematch. I'm telling you. It's going to be a good fight, and it's just going to be one fight. Jay is that Jay Smith. You think Xander is going to lose? That's it. I just made the prediction right there. Made the prediction on the spot. Sometimes it just comes to me, my peoples. I wasn't planning. I didn't start today's episode of Boxing for Breakfast thinking I was going to make a prediction. It just happened, bro. It just happened. Jerome Boost Ennis is going to win the fight. Xander Zayas is going to move to 160 after this loss. It is going to be competitive. It is going to be a good fight. Xander Zayas is going to be seen as a warrior who fought hard. But the inexperienced fighter is going to take the L. This is going to be like when Fernando Vargas, at 23 years old, stepped in the ring with Tito Trinidad. He made it interesting. He put hands on Trinidad, but ultimately, he got beat up. Jerome Boost is going to beat him up. There you have it, my peoples. The Hydro Grind. I got Xander. Come on, man. You've gone against my prediction enough times. You have this experience. I think you enjoy it. I'm starting to believe the Hydro Grind you enjoy, coming back and be like, yeah, you got it. You got it, Jay Stradamus. Coach Abdullah. Somebody's eventually capitalized on Boost crossing feet on some of his transitions. A guy like Charlo will exploit that. I'm going to tell you something. I think that Boost get away with doing that because he has that level of athleticism. And because he switches so often between Southpaw and Orthodox, I think he gets away with it. And honestly, it's a little bit hard to catch him, I think, in between that because he's so subtle with it. But he does it. He's real subtle. But it can happen. But I'm saying for you to time that is very hard to time it. It just has to be that you happen to be, boom, when he's doing it. But to time it, he's very inconsistent with doing that, It's not like he does it all the time. But you're 100% right about that, coach. The Hydra grind. Ennis has been rocked. Bro, everybody been rocked. Xander Zayas been rocked. Floyd Mayweather got rocked. Come on, my guy. Make you roar. Charlo's speed isn't the same. To exploit that, he got to prove to me he still got it. I mean, but we got to see him in the ring. We can't assume or we can't equate inactivity to diminished skills. Now, we've seen a bunch of fighters be inactive, have a great training camp, and come back and be great like they never left. We've seen it. Zayas in there. Funny, that's one of my uncles. Do go against me. One of my uncles do go against me every Super Bowl, little fucker. Make it roar. Boots is complete. Here's the bakery to Crawford's Jordans. He lucky he didn't get to fight Crawford. Would have took a beating. Crawford would have beat him up. But the fight didn't happen. The fight, lucky for him. Now, I tell you what. You know why I think there's potential for this fight to happen? Conor Benn versus Shakur Stevenson. Simple. It hasn't been announced yet, but we've already seen the reports about Shakur supposedly signing with ZUFA Boxing. So if they're both on the same side of the street, it's an easy fight to make, fellas. Easy work. Let's get it. By the way, in case you guys don't know or don't remember, Hamza Shiraz is going to be fighting in the next few days. You guys know how I feel about the AI images that they're using. Like, the AI images, they gotta stop. How you create an image with AI and it don't even look like the fighter, but you use it anyway. Look at this motherfucker right here. That ain't no Hamza Shiraz. That's Jose Shiraz. Gerardo Shiraz. Manuel Shiraz. Carlito Shiraz. That's anybody but Hamza Shiraz. And they use that shit anyways. Come on, my people. Keep it 100. Y'all know I ain't lying. Look at this dude face, bro. How you use this? How? Why would you put Jose Shiraz in the poster and leave Hamza out of it? Come on, man. Look at the difference. Like, it don't even look like the nigga, bro. It don't even look like him. Master Killer, bro. You're gonna tell me that's Hamza. You know damn well that's Gerardo Shiraz. Come on, man. Who the fuck is that? It's what Conor McGregor would say. We don't know him. But Hamza Shiraz will be fighting. The real Hamza Shiraz. Pasta track. Fighters using AI filters. Not because, here's the thing. If you go to, for example, ChatGPT and you say, create an image of Canelo and this fighter jumping in a river. The image that AI create may not even look like Canelo. But it's going to have some a Mexican flag somewhere and some colors to indicate that should be Canelo. There isn't a person in planet Earth who will see this image and be like, oh shit, look at Hamza. Not one person. Not one. Make it work. That's your cousin, Jay Smith. Antonio Shiraz. Bro. Bolivar Shiraz. Come on, man. Pedro Shiraz. Rogelio Shiraz. That could be anybody except Hamza Shiraz. There's no way. There's no way. Coach Abdullah. I thought Berlanga was going to beat him, but I see Andy Lee put in that work. So let me say this, coach. I saw that coming. I saw it coming, bro. I expected Gerardo Shiraz to put the beats on Berlanga. Swiss, Dre, and Apple beats simultaneously. And I'm going to tell you why. I've been off the Berlanga bandwagon for like the last 3 years. You know why? Because I realized one thing. If you remember, like 7 years ago when him and Xander Zayas were getting into the scene, it's like they were right there. Right there, both of them. I remember they were putting them together in undercards. And they were right there. But as the time started passing, I saw the progression in Xander Zayas, in his skills. I saw that. I saw how he started adding more tools to the bag. And if you look at a video from Edgar Berlanga from last year and from 5 years ago, it looked like the same guy. It looked like there's been no progression whatsoever. And I jumped off the bandwagon. I told people, yo, this guy, nah, he ain't in. And here's one of the things that told me he wasn't in. My man hadn't even accomplished shit. And he was already talking about he the king of New York. He running around with an entourage. He, you know, believing the movie. He a goofball. Goofball. My man's loss got beat up by Hamza Shiraz and went to Puerto Rico and had a parade. You ever heard about a loser's parade in your whole life? Who right here out of y'all ever heard about a loser's parade? Yeah, we lost. I lost. Let me go a parade now. Because I went 12 rounds with Canelo. Motherfucker was happy to go 12 rounds. He wasn't even there to win. Mickey Rourke. Bro, I don't want to hear about Edward Daddy Yankee Berlanga. Jay Smith, I called it too. I ain't never met a Mexican that used that word. Nigga that got hands. Look, man, Edgar Berlanga, he's somebody who can fight. He can fight. I see him as the type of fighter who beat the regular guys. He'll beat all the average Joes. But then when he try to climb up to that level, he getting beat up. And Coach Abdullah, to be honest, I'm not even sure Berlanga becomes a champion on ZUFA boxing for that black ZUFA belt. Because they got some tough fighters over there that are not famous, that don't have, you know, are not known like that. But I've already seen some good fighters. So Berlanga, he's not going to be able to cherry pick his way into becoming a champion. Over there, they're going to put you with some tough opponents. Let's see. Let's see what he brings to the table. Mickey Rourke, straight goofy. His people were saying, oh, the humanity. He took the beating of a lifetime, bro. You talk about you the king of New York. Gerardo Shiraz is the king of New York after giving you that ass whooping. Aroma Sound. He thought going 12 with Canelo, man, that he could hang with all the top guys. I mean, he could hang with whoever he wants, but that's a loser mentality. So you're going to be getting beat up by everybody. But your shit is, yeah, but I could hang. I could hang, though. That's a loser mentality, bro. Go get the money. Bam, salute, family. We in the building. We talking boxing. We talking about Gerardo Shiraz and the beating that he gave Edgar Berlanga. Mickey Rourke, Antonio Shiraz is king now. I told you. Rogelio Shiraz is the king of New York now. After the beating he dished out to the former king of New York, Edgar Berlanga. Yo, this man, he showed the DMs of the conversation between him and Edgar Berlanga. My man said, I gave you a beating that turned you into another career. Gave you a beating that turned you into a reggaetonero. Come on, man. Took you out of boxing. You guys have to keep this in mind, right? Shiraz is about to fight. But this is what they're looking for. This is the goal. for Hamza Shiraz. Ultimately, he wants the opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez. But, of course, Canelo has to get past and Billy. This is going to be a tough fight, fellas. And Billy ain't no cherry picker. Anybody who's seen him fight know what's good with him. It's going to be a tough fight. Going to be a good fight. Aroma Sound. If I went 12 rounds with Canelo, I would throw a party too. But I'm not a professional fighter. A professional fighter should be trying to win. Come on, man. Master Killer. That Shiraz is taking me out. Come on, bro. But it could be taking you out, but you know, look what we're looking at. Look at the picture, my guy. Rogelio Shiraz. Pugilism and Billy look like Pusha T. Coach Abdullah. No, he's not. I'm a little bit lost, Coach Abdullah. Who is not? Because that definitely ain't Hamza Shiraz. That's Arturo Shiraz. Master Killer, too funny. I'm just calling it how I see it, bro. They wilding out with them posters. Wilding out. But, I mean, this right here look kind of funny, but you know who it is. See, that's the difference. You could tell that's Canelo. Like a little cartoonish, but you could tell. You're like, yeah, that's Canelo Alvarez. But that other dude, man, listen. I don't know this motherfucker right here. I have no idea who that is. I'm trying to guess. I just know it ain't Hamza Shiraz. Make it roar. That's that undisputed game Canelo. Yeah, you could tell it's him. It's okay. That Hydra Ryan, that's also an AI image from Canelo. It's an AI image, but you can tell that it's him. When you see it, you're like, okay, that's Canelo Alvarez. Even that, okay, that's him, Billy. But if you're a big company, right? Millions of dollars being handled over here. What are you doing putting Carlos Shiraz in a poster? Like, motherfucker, you couldn't take at least a face of Hamza Shiraz and put it on top of the face of Cornelio Shiraz? You could have did that, bro. Easy work. You could have took Hamza's face and put it right there. Okay, yeah, that's Hamza. They said, nah, forget Hamza. We're going to use Rogelio Shiraz for this picture. Make it wrong. Jay, that's your cousin, Antonio Shiraz. Come on, man. The hydrogram is cheaper to make an AI image than a real photo shoot. I mean, it's way cheaper, but goddamn. You could at least tell Hamza, yo, send me a face shot so we could put it right here, put your face on this. You didn't have to put Carlos' face like he impersonating Hamza, don't even look like him. That's just my opinion, my peoples. That's all I'm saying. Master Killer, Carlos Shiraz. Come on, bro. Everybody know a Dominican named Carlos. A Dominican named Jose. Oh, man, Jose Shiraz. That's him. That's him. That right there, look. Look at her face. The light-skinned Dominican nigga right there. Look at him. That motherfucker probably don't even speak English. This motherfucker probably don't speak English. Jose Shiraz, come on now. My people, we just having a good time over here. We just having a good time. We enjoying the sweet science. Nice and early in the morning. Let me give a shout out to everybody who's tuning in to this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Salute my peoples. I appreciate every one of you enjoying the show. Fellas, what are we going to get from Tank Davis? What are we going to get from Tank Davis, my people? Armatarium, Demetri Bivol, GOAT. Look, man, Bivol, a great fighter. But if he fight David Benavidez, he getting beat up. David Benavidez gonna beat him up. Coach Abdullah, what's your thoughts on Morrell? Oh, man, damn, took a nasty loss. Listen, I was watching that fight. And that's the type of fight that sometimes I think separate the real good fighters from the great fighters. And I say that because Morrell he was winning the fight on all cards, right? And it's the last round. He got hurt and he couldn't do what the great fighters do, which was find a way to make it to the belt. We seen Devin Haney get hurt really bad by Linares, stumbled back to his corner. Yet after that, Linares was never able to land another hard shot like that one. He wasn't able to replicate it. So Norman Jr., when he got hurt, he just backed himself into the rope and allowed his not Norman Jr., Morrell, my bad. Morrell got hurt, backed up into the ropes, and allowed his opponent to let the hands fly on him. And the ref had to stop it. You know, a guy with more experience, a guy with more savvy, would have been able to kill a bunch of time on the clock, would have been able to clinch, would have been able to move around and hold again and lunge in with a jab and grab him again and kill the time on the clock and make it to the belt. He couldn't do that. Instead, he just backed up, tried to defend himself, boom, 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 and got stopped. I'll say this. I think that David Morrell still has what it takes to become a world champion. What happened to him, I've seen it happen in boxing before, where a good fighter is winning a fight like he's supposed to, and then something happens at the end, and they lose. So I would have said David Morrell is done if he was getting washed by this guy, or if he was getting beat up by this guy. I said, damn, this guy's beating you up. But he was winning the fight, and he was going to win it. Unfortunately, he got caught with a good shot to the wig piece in the last round, and that's it. He couldn't react after that. But I think David Morrell is a real good fighter, and I think he could still become a world champion even after taking that bad loss. Mickey Rourke, Tank the King, he will return Jay Smith, and all y'all will have to shut the F up. A real light-skinned nigga. That lion belly is rumbling. He's heard all the chatter in the court. I mean, hold on, because you're talking about a real light-skinned nigga right there. But what's up with all that little hip movement Tank be doing and all that waist slapping? Talk to me about that. What's that all about? And I'm not saying that Tank got sugar in his tank, but talk to me about all that shit. Talk to me about the slapping the ass. I don't know about all that. I'm not from that culture, my people. I don't slap my ass. I don't slap my waist. I don't shake my hips like that. I don't know. I don't know what y'all be on over there, fellas. Y'all be on some other shit. Aroma Sound. Tank showed up to a press conference with a purse and a fur coat. With a nice little merce. Mickey Rourke, talk to me about what he doing in the ring. Oh, you don't want to talk about the dance moves? Armata, hey dude, bam, salute family. Look, Tank Davis, it's been reported that he might come back to fight Pitbull Cruz. Then they were saying that he wants to come back and fight Lamar Roach. He's going to have options. Tank is a superstar. Armatarin. Yo, I don't know how to read the name, my brother, but salute to you, everybody in Russia who been showing love, who been coming through to Boxing for Breakfast. I appreciate you, my guy. Coach Abdullah, yeah. What's up with the whispering sweet nothing in your homie's ear? What y'all on? I'm telling you, bro, I'm 47 years old, and I don't know if I'm just too old school, but there's the new generations coming up, they're on something else, bro. Number one, you're not going to convince me to wear a purse. There's nothing you can do to convince me to wear a purse. I don't care if you put the most famous people in the planet. I'm not wearing one. That's one. I'm not wearing a dress. That's 2. And I'm not gonna be shaking my hips and slapping my ass. That's 3. But, you know, y'all on some other shit. There's people that's on some other things out there these days. Maybe I'm too old and I'm not with the program. JJ's in there has Tank is spending too much time at the strip club. Now he is dancing like the girls. Shackle hands. Yes. Deb got the merge too. I'm not messing with the merge, bro. Not messing with it. Pugilism. That's occult feminism with big shadow banks influencing boxing. Seek God. Aroma sound. Not just boxing, influencing a lot of other things. They trying to feminize. I'm not even going to say it. Hold on, because if I say it, boom, the shadow banning lasts longer. So let me not even say it. But listen to pugilism. Aroma sound. They wearing nail polish these days too. I don't know what to say, man. JJ's in their house. We can't talk about Tank in the ring because he hasn't been in the ring for a long time. So we got to talk about Tank outside the ring. But eventually, we're going to get a fight. We're going to get a fight. That case that he's dealing with, I don't think is going to land him in jail. I think Tank Davis is going to step in the ring soon. Mickey Rourke, Jay Smith, everyone in the valley, in the jungle, take notice when the king gets up from the shade tree. Yeah, but everybody also notice when the king is shaking his ass on social media. Shackle hands. Keep the shadow shadowing Jay. You can't use that lingo because they're too soft, allegedly. I'm telling you, man, I gotta be careful what I say, what topics I address, because, you know, I got a scope on my back, fellas. Come on now. I'm going to say this. Look. Tank Davis is one of the biggest stars in boxing. Let's keep it real. Whether you like him or not, he one of the best fighters in the game, one of the most explosive, one of the most entertaining to watch. He's a superstar. But we want to see him fight the big names. That's the only problem, me personally, that I have with Tank Davis. That he's about to be 31 years old, hasn't fought Shakur, hasn't fought Keyshawn, hasn't fought Devin, hasn't fought Teofimo Lopez. Like, all of these guys were in the same division at the same time. All of them were world champions while they're with Tank. And it's like, what are you doing? Tank Davis got a secondary title in the 135 division. And most people don't even realize that Tank hasn't fought a champion in his own division where he's been at for 5 years. Tank Davis moved up to 135 when he was 25 years old. And at 30, he never fought a world champion in that weight class where he's fought. Shakur Stevenson was a champion while Tank is there. Teofimo was a champion while he was there. Devin was a champion while he was there. He didn't fight none of them. So the biggest names of this generation were all there with Tank. And he didn't fight any of them. So at some point, there's going to be a certain level of pressure from the fans to say, yo, that's it. Cool story. You moved up Lamar Roach from 130 to fight you. Moved up Androide Garcia from 130 to fight you. Moved down to 130 to fight Leo Santa Cruz. Moved up to 140 for the Mario Barrios secondary title, while Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion in that same division. Never defended that title, moved right back down, vacated that secondary crap. So it's like, there's a lot of maneuvering going on that you get tired of it. Like, I don't want to see no more maneuvering. I want to see you go for the big dogs. And we get to finally see how those fights played out, because at this point, for how long has Shakur Stevenson been calling out Tank Davis? For how long has Shakur Stevenson been expressing that he wants to fight him? But ultimately, Tank decides if or when that fight happens. That's the thing about his level of star power. He can decide, I want this guy, or I want that guy, or easy. So we have not seen Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson because Tank don't want to fight him. Shakur can't force him. It's not like Shakur can say, get in the ring and fight me. That's it. Can't do it. Can't make him fight. We're going to see how this whole situation plays out, fellas. We're going to see how the cookie crumbles. But we were talking earlier about the real Hamza Shiraz. I think they preparing him for that Canelo fight. And they really want to make it happen. Of course, Canelo has to beat Christian and Billy. But he's under contract with RIYADH season with Turkey in them. And they shoving Hamza Shiraz down his throat. They want to make that fight so bad. Mickey Rourke. All the other kings have fought each other except Ryan, who has fought two kings. Who won one, lost one. Who won, lost one. Won one, lost one. Mickey Rourke, you're literally ignoring him stopping Ryan when at the time no one's beating him. Mickey Rourke, you're literally ignoring that Ryan Garcia fought Tank Davis when he had never fought for a title. That was his first title shot. And you know what's the problem with that, Mickey Rourke? Ryan Garcia was getting his first title shot. Rollies was getting his first title shot. Pitbull was getting his first title shot. Frank Martin was getting his first title shot. Do you see a pattern right there? Do you realize that Tank Davis fighting a lot of real good guys that never fought for a title? So you rather focus on Ryan wasn't beat by nobody because he was undefeated, but you ignore the fact that he had never fought for a title. That was his first title shot. So is it a coincidence that Tank Davis fought a bunch of guys who never fought for a title? Is that a coincidence? Or that's done deliberately? You tell me. But when I was a kid, my pops used to tell me there are no coincidences. They look like it. Nah, pretty well planned. Mickey Rourke, King, they call him. Tank, no, he was nothing more than, I can't see what you're saying there. He will do the same to Shakur Stevenson. Watch Jay Stradamus. Nah, Shakur Stevenson beating Tank up. Beating him up. Master killer. People settle for the knockouts and never damage the skilled match until later in their career. Yeah, but how later in their career? Because, again, Tank Davis, he either is already 31 or he's about to be 31. One of the two. At one point. Is he going to be a 31-year-old prospect? Jay isn't that exactly Jay Smith. Lots of shaking. Mickey Rourke. Is Ryan Garcia not one of the top guys of this generation? Again, Mickey Rourke, you cannot take context away from. It's not the same a guy beating a world champion, Ryan Garcia, than a guy beating a Ryan Garcia who never won a title. Than a guy beating Ryan Garcia who looked like a skeleton because everybody know he was weight drained under a rehydration clause. Come on, Mickey Rourke. You yourself as a Tank fan can easily ignore the Tank Davis rehydration clause that gave him an advantage over guys that got to suck themselves down. But Mickey Rourke, everybody's not going to ignore it like you. You see that? You see how you want to give him credit for Ryan Garcia, who had never won a title and looked like a skeleton, looked like a crackhead for that fight? You could give Tank credit for it. But he didn't beat a reigning world champion in Ryan Garcia. He beat a guy who never won a title at the time. That's who he beat. He wasn't one of the top dogs. So you could place the value that you want on that win. But ultimately, he didn't beat a reigning world champion. Tank Davis has never faced a single reigning world champion at 135. Let that sizzle in your spirit. You've been at 135 since you was 25 years old. You're 30, and you didn't fight a single reigning champion in the division. You got a secondary title, and you got promoted to main champion, an email. Come on, Mickey Rourke. You gotta look at the facts. You gotta look at everything. JJ's in the house. Tank has to shave his head when he fight the boogeyman. So there's no excuses. So a braid don't come close to his eye and throw a pound of Vaseline into it and blinds him. You're right. You're right. But in reality, that's fake news, and everybody who fights knows it. Everybody who fights knows it. Everybody knows fake news. I'll give you an example. This is something that's common in boxing. You know that they put Vaseline on you, right? Put Vaseline on you, like before you fight. They put Vaseline on your cheeks, in your forehead, chin, right? That's normal. So guess what? It happens in boxing that somebody who's been punching you got Vaseline on their gloves. They punch you in your eyeball. Vaseline goes in your eye, and you like this. That happens in boxing. You don't take a knee because you got punched in the eye and Vaseline went in it. Coach Abdullah, Mickey Rourke, without social media, who is Ryan Garcia as a pro fighter? I'll give you the win versus Haney. So I'm gonna answer to that, Coach Abdullah. I'm gonna answer to that. So part of the reason why Ryan Garcia gets as much flack, as much hate as he get, is because he became a big star in boxing before accomplishing anything. So even early on, people were saying that he's a YouTuber, that he's a YouTuber. That was the thing, calling him a YouTuber, right? But Coach Abdullah, this is something that we got to consider, which is fair to take into consideration. Ryan Garcia has amateur pedigree. In the amateurs, he won a bunch of tournaments. He beat Devin Haney in the amateurs multiple times. I don't know how many tournaments he won gold medals. So it's not like he just a guy who came out of nowhere. You know, he not a Jake Paul, for example, who really is a YouTuber. This guy has an amateur pedigree and been accomplished in the amateurs before turning pro. So that's one thing that a lot of the social media fans don't realize, because social media wasn't big like that when early in Ryan's career, right? But this kid was dragging crowds to watch him in the amateur tournaments. You will see crowds of people, and there was no social media like that. And you will see crowds of people where Ryan Garcia signs and shit like that. So when he turned pro, he was similar to Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya was a bigger star, way bigger star, Olympic gold medalist. But what I'm saying he was similar to Oscar De La Hoya is that he actually had a following from the amateurs, people that was following him. And as soon as the social media thing started, he blew up pretty quick because he already had a following. So people who started watching him thought, this guy's just a YouTuber, but they don't realize that this guy been fighting since he was a little kid. Ryan Garcia been boxing, I think, since he was 8 or 9. Coach Abdullah, that's why I said as a pro. But exactly, as a professional, he became a star without accomplishing shit. And people resented that, like, damn, you ain't even accomplished nothing. Why are you this big of a star? In reality, Ryan Garcia was smart. He was he was the first boxer who used social media to leverage his star power. Look at this. Wow, people laughed at Ryan Garcia early on and called him a YouTuber. He turned out to be a trailblazer. You know why? Which name boxer doesn't have a YouTube channel? Think about that. While people was laughing at Ryan Garcia for having a YouTube channel, he's a YouTuber. Now every single boxer who has a name got a YouTube channel. Ryan Garcia is a trailblazer. He showed fighters that you could market yourself, you could promote yourself, you could make yourself a bigger star through social media. So even though they was laughing at him early on, now everybody uses social media. Not just YouTube. All the big name fighters got their social media that they use to push their fights, promote themselves, and so on and so forth. Coach Abdullah, facts. De La Hoya could have had Golden Boy 2.0. Ryan Garcia, and you have to think about it. Ryan Garcia, when he turned, Oscar De La Hoya, when he turned pro, you will see venues where half the crowd was women. Full of women. Some of those women didn't even follow boxing. Oscar De La Hoya brought women to the sport simply because they thought he was a good-looking guy. The women went crazy over young Oscar De La Hoya. But guess what? At first, it was a joke. Oh, he bringing in all these girls. They don't care about boxing. It turns out that those women started watching the fights, started enjoying it, got hooked, and before you know it, Oscar De La Hoya had a whole female fan base. A whole fan base of women. The good looks, it did it for him. And the good looks did it for Ryan Garcia. No diddy. Pause. Ryan Garcia's social media, you see he killing it with the women. He capitalized on social media. But ultimately, I want to say this. I said that Ryan Garcia was going to become a world champion a long time ago. And I fully expected that to happen. I knew it was going to happen at some point. I didn't know when, what weight class, how, who. But I expected him to become a world champion. Mickey Rourke, I love seeing boxers training camp. Their daily grind. And road to the fights. Look, Mickey Rourke, that's something that I love as well. I had the opportunity to be part of Rodrigo Marte's training camp. Rodrigo Marte, young, undefeated Dominican fighter. He's like 5-0 right now. He's going to be a world champion, by the way. Remember that name, Rodrigo Marte, future world champion. And I got to be in his training camp, capturing footage. I got to go running with him. I got to see him, from the moment he wake up, because we was in Curaçao. We was staying in the same hotel. So from the moment he woke up till the moment he went back to his hotel, I was with the team. And it's pretty cool, that's something that I want to do in the future. At that time, I wasn't going live too often. I didn't have boxing for breakfast yet. But the next time I have the opportunity to be in a training camp, I'm going to go live. I'm going to try to capture as much as I can live with you guys. Can't wait to do it. Pugilism and Keyshawn, best boxing pedigree with better charisma and social media personality than Ryan Garcia. Keep that money circulating back to 757. I don't know that right there you're getting into opinion. Ryan Garcia is a bigger star than Keyshawn Davis by a landslide. Like, it's not even close. Coach Abdullah, I'm 53. I remember everything you're saying. Man, listen, I'm at 47 years old. Obviously, I've been watching boxing for some time too. We've seen, watch this, and you're going to remember what I'm about to say, Coach Abdullah, you're going to remember it. Because of the time that we've been watching boxing, we've seen how the boxing conversation went from what happens in the ring, who should fight who are the best fighters, and we've seen how social media brought in the conversation of who makes more money, who's putting more butts in seats, who's selling more pay-per-views. We've seen the shift from boxing fans arguing about the fights to boxing fans arguing about who makes more money, or arguing about who's gonna sell more pay-per-views. Social media has done that. It put interest in aspects of boxing that we didn't give a damn about back in the days. When two guys fight, I don't care who's gonna make more money out of those guys. Both of those guys, in many cases, are making millions and are millionaires. Why do I want to sit here and argue with somebody about who's the A side and who's making more money? I don't care about that. Ultimately, what I care about is the fights. Who's going to fight next? Who's going to win this fight? Who's the better fighter? But social media turned people into pocket-watching fans where the focus in the conversation sometimes turns into money. JJ's in the house. De La Hoya recorded an album. I remember that. Joe King, bam, salute family, pugilism. Al Shiraz looked like Oscar Golden Boy Shiraz. JJ's in the house. Same here, Jay Smith. Back when the old didn't mean anything. It was the best fighting the best. Aroma Sound. They even arguing over the promoters and the networks these days. Come on, bro. Like, that's what social media has done. And not only that, I'm going to tell you a big difference between boxing fans from the 80s, from the 90s, compared to boxing fans from right now. Boxing fans from back then, it was, of course, about enjoying the sport, which is for all of us. But it was about the trash talking, like, yeah, you're going to beat him up, or such and such going to beat him up, or such and such is better than him, or like, those were the type of conversations that we was having, right? There was no such thing as a conversation as, yeah, my guy makes more money than your guy. Those conversations didn't exist back then. My guy puts more butts in seats. My guy's giving your guy an opportunity. He's giving opportunities. We never had those conversations. Today, that's the norm. That is the norm. You hear that kind of stuff every day. So the difference is that back then, people were just fans of the sport and trash talking and enjoying it. Today, social media made everybody a specialist. Everybody's a professional, everybody a specialist, and everybody is a boxing guru. Back then, people wasn't a boxing guru. Back then, people wasn't creating all of these crazy analysis. Oh, look, because of this and because of that, and all these things that I watch on TV, I was able to put together this analysis. People didn't do that shit back then. It was all about who's better. We might argue about who made weight, who didn't make weight. But now, social media, everybody's an analyst, everybody's an expert. Everybody knows more than everybody. That changes. That changes the dynamic of the the debate. You know why? Because if we're debating as fans, we could have a good debate and have fun with it. But if we're debating and you're trying to be an expert and you're trying to be an analyst, now instead of having a good time with the going back and forth, you're trying to prove that you're right and that you're creating the better argument. So now you're putting together these elaborate paragraphs to show your knowledge. And then I ask you, yo, how many fights you got? Oh, well, I never fought before, and I never been in the ring, and I never been involved in boxing in any way, shape, or form. But I watch YouTube and social media enough to be an expert. That's just the reality of what social media does. Aroma Sound, they even argued over promotional deals and networks. Man, when the fight is on channel 9 instead of channel 11. Pugilism, social media equals tribal media. JJ's and Zayas. My guy has a nicer purse than your guy. My guy got a $2,000 Merce. My peoples, salute to everybody who tuned in to this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Let me give you the word of the day. I got to give you the word of the day today. The word of the day, my peoples, is that, and Mr. Pugilism's suggestion about what Keyshawn Davis should do is what got this word of the day. So pugilism, remember, you got to take this one for you as well. The word of the day, my peoples. Number one, it's a two-part word of the day. Number one, never allow nobody to tell you what you should do if they not already doing it. If they doing it and they doing what you want to be doing, they tell you how to do it, go do it. That's the right thing. But whatever it is that you do, somebody who's never done it could never tell you what to do. You'll be a fool to listen to them. But here's the second part. You don't tell nobody else what to do if you're not doing what they doing. So if somebody's a rapper, you don't tell them what type of rap songs they should be writing if they already having success. Motherfucker, you never done a rap song in your life. How you gonna tell a rapper what he should be doing? The same thing applies for boxing. A world champion, undefeated fighter, and you never been in the ring, you never been punched in the face, you can't tell them what to do. Because then you look like a fool. They're going to look at you like, so you never been involved in what I do, but you're telling me what to do. How does that exactly work inside your mind? That you know better than me what I should be doing. So, once again, my peoples, the J. Stradamus word of the day. Don't let nobody tell you what to do or dictate what you're going to do unless they already have a certain level of success in what they're telling you. Because now they're talking about experience. If somebody's talking to you about experience, then they could give you advice. But somebody who's never done it, they can't tell you. And the same applies for you. If you never done it, don't tell somebody what they can do. Because that's your opinion of it, but you never done it. There's nothing to back up your opinion on something that you never done. Listen, one of my favorite movies to watch is Top Gun with Tom Cruise. Which, by the way, I watched the remake or the part 2 of Top Gun, and I enjoyed that movie too. It was really good, right? And I watched the first Top Gun probably like 10 times. But as many times as I've seen Top Gun, I can honestly tell you, I don't know shit about flying a jet. You can watch as many jet flying movies as you want, but you still don't know shit about flying a jet. So, naturally, you won't tell a jet fighter pilot, hey, listen, man, I think that the best way for you to fly that jet, the way that you should really turn, you should bank the jet. When you turn, I think that's how you should do it. Because I saw it in Top Gun when they do it. Can't do that, my peoples. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of Boxing for Breakfast and that you absorbed today's word of the day. One love to you guys from Jay Smith. Appreciate everybody who tuned in on this beautiful Monday morning. I'm going to be live again later, fellas. I'm going to see you guys later. One love. Bam. We out of here.